Welcome to Hit the Bricks Live, your number one podcast for horror movie news, with McCoy from Drumdums, Nick Miller from the Lost River Drive-In, and Davey Death Ray. Now sit back, relax, and enjoy the show.
Hit the bricks, Dorothy.
What is up, everybody? Welcome to episode 10. We made it to double digits. That's it. It's insane. Cats and dogs sleeping together. Is that what he said? I can't remember.
Living together?
Living together. I took it up a notch.
Yeah, a little bit.
Cats and dogs sleeping together. Would that be? It's not incest bestiality. I don't know. We're starting off with a bang.
No. It's perverted. It's against God's way.
Yeah,
that's for
it's
sure.
definitely against God. We know that for sure. It's in the Bible. It's in Corinthians.
Yeah, it's somewhere in there.
Dogs and cats sleeping together. What's up, everybody? Let me see who's in the chat here. Hold on. I'm going to get this out of the way. I'm going to go ahead and say hello to Kevin Munn. Kevin Munn was the first one. I saw him. He's been a Drumdums member for 6 freaking months. It's amazing. Gene Wildacombe,
Oh, yeah.
Destiny, how are you doing? Ollie. Ashton Luck, and do I need to go up? Hold on, let me see. I always start at the bottom, and then I got to scroll up because I don't know what I'm doing. Chester, I said Chester. Deshaun, how are you doing? Gray Addict. Sergeant Shitty Pickle, my favorite profile name. You can't get better than that, right? Scott Lauderdale, how you doing, brother? Nice to see you. Nicholas Vincent. Okay. We are here. We are live. We are Hit the Bricks. Davey Death Ray, how are you doing, brother?
I'm doing all right. I've been house sitting at my sister's place and cat sitting. And so this whole, since I showed up here Wednesday or whatever, I've been going random late night live streams just for shits and giggles. So that's been pretty wild. But my sleep schedule's all wonky. So I'm pumped to be hanging out with you guys though. Episode 10. Pretty awesome to be here.
Yeah, dude.
And yeah, super pumped to talk some Jason and talk some Freddy.
What kind of mic is that you get? Is that your mic, or is that did you bring your mic over, or is that a different mic?
Yeah, I've just got a Rode. It's a Procaster, so it's one that I've had since I was recording music kind of days. So it's the full size Procaster. Let me see if I can.
Oh, nice. Okay. Yeah. Is that the one you use when you're at your place?
Yeah, I've just got it it's even more off to the side right now.
Yeah, you sound crystal clear. You sound really good. Nick, how are you doing, bro? Oh, there we got a kitty in there.
Duncan, say what's up, bud.
Nick, how you doing, brother?
I'm doing well, man. I'm things are aces lately, honestly, which is kind of weird. Not used to that. But yeah, I'm doing pretty well. I got one over here too. He's cleaning himself on my bed. That's Zeke. He's an old man. He follows me everywhere. But no, I'm doing well, man. I got this a couple weeks ago. I was, while you guys were talking, I was like, I want to make a post really quick on Instagram because I totally forgot to make a post about it when I got it from my friend Rudy. But that Halloween 5 Fangoria, dude.
Oh shit.
Oh, sweet.
Yeah, and I'm definitely gonna read it. So, but yeah, no, I'm doing well. I'm doing well. I hope you guys are doing well as well.
They say it comes in waves, Nick. You know, the good and the bad. It's just, it's just.
I had 6 months of just straight diarrhea. You know,
yeah. Sometimes that happens too.
Sometimes it's not literally, guys, but sometimes it's got to turn around. Right? There's we got to find a balance here. So hopefully, fingers crossed.
Yeah, sometimes you look up in the sky and you're like, can I get one fucking break? Just one?
I have literally done that, Lee.
Yeah.
Literally said those words. Come on.
Oh, me too. Me too. I have been there, my friend. But you always got to hang in because the light, if you keep searching for it, it's there. You can find it. Hey, speaking of books, I always have a stack. Actually, I'll grab the whole stack. God, it's heavy. These are all just always sitting right, and it's all freaking Rue Morgue.
Oh yeah.
Let's see. Somebody sent me. Somebody sent me this since we were talking about Halloween Ends. Isn't that badass?
Beautiful.
Hell yeah.
Yeah, somebody just said it's like it's an art piece or something like that. I don't know. But tonight we're gonna celebrate Freddy and Jason. But first thing I want to do is Chris Stuckmann. Holy crap, Chris Stuckmann finally has a trailer out. Now, did both of you go see together? Yeah, you both went and seen together, right? Did you both get the trailer in together?
Yep.
Yes. Yep.
I did too. And I remember when I was watching the trailer, within like, I don't know, a couple seconds, I think they showed the tape and it said, and I was like, whoa, shit, here we go. It's finally, we get the trailer. And let me ask you guys this. Before you saw this trailer, what did you think did you think this was going to be found footage? Did you think this was going to be like, just look like a regular, studio driven movie?
I thought found footage. I actually thought I'd seen press releases saying it was going to be found footage. I don't know. But that's what I thought. Yeah.
What about you, Davey?
Yeah, I thought it would have that element because the plot was basically, it's one of those, I feel like we've gotten a handful of movies like this where, somebody goes missing while they're doing some sort of paranormal investigation, and then other people go and look for them, either a family member or like some sort of loved one. So I figured there would be some sort of element of the found footage worked into the film, but I figured that the film would be, by and large, a standard kind of like, narrative that we're used to seeing in film.
Let me say this before we're going to watch this trailer here real quick, but man, it's crazy to me because, and I'm sure you guys can relate. I remember watching Chris back in, I first discovered him back in 2012 when I was deployed. And when you're deployed, you got nothing to do. And so I'd always have a laptop and I had a little cot that I would sit, you're in the freaking sandbox. And every night my routine, because we had like a little Wi-Fi dongle or whatever. And, I'd watch movies on my laptop or I would surf the internet for a little bit. And I remember discovering YouTube around 2012. I think I knew of it, but I didn't really think YouTube was like going to be a big thing. And I think it was Jeremy Johns and Chris Stuckmann were the first two that I discovered on there because I'm a movie lover. And I think if you're if you love movies as much as we do, eventually you're going to find that space on YouTube, which I did. And back then, I think he was just starting to look more, I guess, professional in his approach, because Chris Stuckmann started like sitting on his bed in his bedroom, and it was as lo-fi as you could possibly imagine. And so to come full circle and actually have a movie that looks this great coming out, man, I couldn't be happier for the guy. Before we watch the trailer, any thoughts from you guys about, I guess your history with Chris Stuckmann, or maybe you just never really cared to watch, because we all have our favorites. What about you, Davey?
So I used to love watching Chris Stuckmann's channel. I mean, as far as just like, oh, there's just another review I can check out, something to have on in the background, whatever. And then, once Halloween 2018 came out, he did a review of it. I was like, oh, dude, did you try to get involved in the movie? And they said like, no to you? Because it seems like you're taking this very personally. And he totally mischaracterized the bathroom scene. He said it was like an exact copy of what happens in H2O. And I was like, shit, dude. Like, it's like the exact opposite of what happens in H2O. And so, and then during, as I'm watching the review, I'm sort of like, I think I have to unsub this guy. So I unsubbed after that. Yeah. And then, I know all the whole controversy with like not wanting to review bad movies, like when Madam Web came out. And I'm just like, obviously it's just like an unspoken rule, like on YouTube, like, people just get to cover whatever the hell they want on their channel. And you don't really tell them what to do or what not to do. But it just sort of occurred to me when he did that, I was like, well, if that's what you want to be, and you want to be a director and you don't want to ruffle feathers, then your channel can just be a celebration of film from the past, or a celebration of what you love about film. And you don't have to review movies anymore, because now we know if you don't review a movie, you thought it was shit. So you're still telling us that you think the movie is
you're
shit.
Right. I mean, that's pretty much giving it away. Oh, Chris Stuckmann didn't like this movie. It's a big, high-profile movie. He's not reviewing it. Oh, he doesn't like it.
Yeah, I doubt he reviewed the latest The Ritual movie. But having said all that, I'm rooting for the guy's movie to do well, because it's just going to be good for any other YouTubers who are aspiring or up and coming filmmakers. Filippo Brothers just have been rocking it. Call Me Chris just put out a movie, which isn't doing too well, but at least that's another, content creator that's got a movie out there. And I hope Stuckmann does well also. A rising tide raises all ships. So, so I'm rooting for him. And of course, everyone else that worked on the production as well.
Yeah, I think we're going to continue seeing YouTube creators somehow finding their way into the Hollywood system. I'm not talking about fan films. That's a whole different story. But like Chris Stuckmann, like the Filippo brothers, it's going to happen, and I think we're going to see more and more of them. But talking about like Chris Stuckmann's review of like Halloween 2018, as a horror reviewer, and this doesn't mean like, because I'm a horror guy, I understand horror better than they do. I don't know, but I do find that often when I watch somebody that's outside of horror do a review for a horror movie, like let me say like Strangers Pray at Night, more times than not, they're going to rip that movie to shreds. And I even saw like Chris Stuckmann's review of like Jason Lives, a few years back. And I was like throwing stuff at my computer because he was making it out to be like one of the worst slasher movies ever. And in the horror community, Jason Lives is like freaking, the most amazing thing ever to us. We all pretty much love Jason Lives. So I don't know, Nick, do you find that with people that are kind of outside of our space when they review things, or do you think they're actually right, and maybe we're just a little bit jaded about it?
No. Well, I do find that, and no, I don't think they're right. Just really quick as an aside, I want to say The Strangers Pray at Night is fantastic. Prefer it to the first one. Y'all can argue with a wall, but I mean, the way that I look at it is like, I did have a phase. I think everybody had a phase when they first got into YouTube, whether you were making content or not, when you were really watching it, the movie side of YouTube, the reviewers you would see would be like Stuckmann, Jeremy Johns, like those were the people that you would come across. And as I started to do my own content creation, I was really like, again, nothing personal to the guys at all, but I was just like, I'm not really into this. And I never subscribed to either one of them. But that was just because like, I don't know, it's not really my wheelhouse, but also, no, I think that people that step out of their proverbial comfort zone sometimes because they need to review a new, big new movie, but it's not really their cup of tea. I don't really take their word for it. They're probably not going to find things in it that I will. They're not a fan. It wasn't made for them. That's not to say that, because most people found some enjoyment in Halloween 2018, and me being a huge Halloween fan, I was actually disappointed. So like that was different, but I just don't think that I don't go to those. I don't go to anybody really for opinions on this kind of stuff. I don't even listen to what Christian says. Like he'll tell me a movie was good or a movie was disappointed him. And I'm like, sorry to hear that, man. I couldn't disagree more. No, I just think that for certain people, it's not your forte. I get why you're doing it, and I don't fault them for reviewing these movies and doing these things. But Stuckmann, I would say he was always definitely seemed a little bit more he wasn't a huge, I wouldn't say he's a huge horror fan, and maybe I'm wrong, but he definitely seemed like a bigger horror fan than some of these other really big reviewer channels. So more power to him. I got to be honest with you guys. I was not a fan of this trailer. When I watched it for Together, I just was like, it just doesn't look like my thing at all. Like, I mean, it looks professional. I'm sure it'll make money, and it'll probably jumpstart a career for him, and a second career, I guess I should say, and more power to him. But no, it just doesn't really look like my thing.
Well, speaking of the trailer, let's check it out. Let's for those of you that haven't seen it, I will say the thing I like about it most is the very beginning of the trailer. But let's go ahead and start it right now. Here we go. Let's see if I do that.
Yeah.
Do you need help?
She finally let me go.
That scene right there. That's pretty cool.
paranormal paranoid. Today we're taking our first foray into the abandoned town of Shelby Oaks.
I've been searching for Riley for the last 12 years. I know my sister's not dead.
Bodies were found outside of Shelby Oaks. Riley Brennan is still missing.
The last night I saw her, she said she saw a man standing in her window, staring at her. Yeah. You live alone out here? Nope. Where is my sister? Riley.
Man, one thing I will say is, I mean, that's a gorgeous looking movie, and it looks like it's probably 95%, regular shot movie, for lack of a better phrase. It doesn't look like, I think the only found footage type deal is the actual footage in the movie that she finds about Shelby Oaks. But I love the opening of that, and this is my interpretation of it, but somebody delivering a message, and then he offs himself right there in front of her. Why he offed himself, I don't know. Pretty wild. Maybe he's infected by something. I don't know. But then that kind of starts the train a roll, and she's been gone, I think it said like 12 years or something like that. But I like the plot of this. It sounds really cool. It does look like it fits right in with all the neon A24 horror coming out today, and that's a good thing in my eyes. I love all the horror stuff that's coming out today. So for a first movie too, I gotta say it does look really interesting. Now I'm curious, Nick, what was it about the trailer that didn't really jive with you?
Well, like I said, it looks really professional. It looks really well made, and I'm sure it's going to do things for Stuckmann. Absolutely. I don't know. Like I feel like I've seen a lot of movies. Like, didn't we just, now it's not going to be the same thing, but like, didn't we just, I feel like we see a lot of movies nowadays where there's like people going through, oh, I found this VHS tape and look at all this creepy shit. And now I have to go like investigate this thing. Like that's something that I feel like is a little played out, but also it just didn't, like, at no point was I like, oh man, this looks freaky. Like I was just kind of like, okay. Like, I don't know. I mean, maybe I've talked to Christian about this recently. Like, is it just like a getting older thing where like things don't really look like they're not getting under your skin anymore? Because like I used to remember seeing horror trailers and the really good ones being like, damn, like that looks like it's going to be freaky. And I don't get that from this. But I mean, I don't know. It looks solid. Like I'm sure it's going to be a decent movie, but I don't know. There's something that pissed me off in the theater, though. I got to be honest with you. When you played it there, too, it's a minor gripe. It's not a big deal at all, guys. But don't think I didn't hear that Mia exactly like from Evil Dead 2013. Like, come on now. It sounded like the exact same voice, too. Call it an homage, whatever. But I mean, I don't know. It just didn't grab me. It didn't grab me. I wasn't like, holy shit, what is this?
You can see some heavy inspiration in there. I kind of like The Ring crossed with like maybe Longlegs, a little bit of Longlegs in there. It looks like that type of movie. My thing with, like, I guess being freaked out about movies, to me that's just almost like a bonus. Like when I look at this, first thing is I want a good story, and this looks like a good mystery. So I'm curious how it all unfolds and why the sister, I think it is missing after. That's the hook for me with this. I'm not really looking for to get scared. I'm looking more to find out, how the story unfolds. Is it satisfying?
I miss when horror movies used to scare us, man.
Yeah,
I
like
really
House of the
do.
Lambs, you know?
Yeah, like I miss it. And it's not that long ago. The Autopsy of Jane Doe freaked me the hell
Yes.
out the first time I watched it. Like, I feel like, I don't know, like it's, on one hand, I feel like horror movies are actually getting better with telling stories. Like that is definitely true. I think these stories are a lot more like, you can invest in them. You really get invested in these characters. These mysteries are usually really, really good. But I feel like when doing that, we don't focus as much on the scares anymore. And that's why I feel like a lot of these movies aren't really scary aside from, your not your habitual, your jump scare here and there that is like, oh, we have to do this. Like it's a quota. We got to have 5 in this movie.
Yeah.
And they're never really effective. So I don't know. I mean, it's just like Long Legs, one of my favorite movies of last year, didn't scare me at all. Like at all. And like all the trailers are like, oh, it's so horrifying. It's so messed up. And I was just like, no, this movie was great, but like, no, it didn't scare me. So I don't know. Maybe we're in this weird point where it's like, no, we're going to make better horror movies now. They're not going to be as scary, but they're going to be better movies. And it's like,
yeah,
okay.
It's like it's like a thriller cop out. And when you watch thrillers, you kind of go into them not expecting scares as much. And to be fair to this movie, I think 7 and Silence of the Lambs are 2 of the best films of their type. Did they scare me? No, not really. I mean, 7 definitely got under my skin because of the nature of it and how I guess some of the 7 deadly sins that the guy, seeks to accomplish in the movie are pretty freaking wild. So I guess 7 is, if you want to get scary with a thriller, 7's the closest you can get. Davey, what are you thinking about all this?
Yeah, I mean, I think the plot does seem, pretty derivative or like stuff we've seen before quite a bit. Like you were saying, it's got a little bit of that walking sim kind of feel, like The Ring, and a little bit of the Oz Perkins kind of thing. I don't know if that's just because Neon has a really good marketing team that makes very consistent trailers, because the sound design in this trailer is excellent. Like that's the thing that stands out to me, is the way that they play with the sound. But yeah, I mean, production value looks really good on this one. It doesn't really look like it's my cup of tea. Looks like they're kind of going with some sort of like cult kind of tie-in, some sort of off yourself cult from some of those images that they flash across the screen there. I've got the AMC A-list. I will check this out in the theater. If I didn't have the AMC A-list, I would probably give this a miss in the theater and just catch it on streaming. But I'm curious to see how it all plays out. And yeah, I don't know. It's so weird. Like you just get a feeling sometimes. I'm kind of like with Nick on that, where it's just like certain things just like vibe with me and certain things don't. And yeah, I mean, movies just don't really, I don't know what it is. I was just watching the It Chapter 2 or whatever. I was like, this is the most unscary, like this is like boring to me kind of stuff. Where maybe that's just movies now. I mean, just, now that I'm just old and I have like real things that scare me, like existential crises.
Yeah, maybe that's it.
But yeah, I mean, this one, like, yeah, I think the sound design, cinematography is looking good. I just don't know if the story is really my thing.
Yeah, I think that's what it hinges on, and I do harp on this a lot, but I think you hit the nail on the head. I think when you get to a certain age and you have real problems, we go into horror movies for an escape. Whereas when I was a teenager and before, I really went into horror movies like almost like a dare. Like I want to be scared, and I usually thought that the movie that I'm going to see is going to scare me. It was almost the opposite of the way things are now. Oh, we lost Nick. Damn it! So
Nick, no,
I don't know what happened. We lost him. I was going to go. We're going to go into the next story about the Nightmare on Elm Street box set. I think he's coming back in. Hold on. I think there he is.
Okay, cool. I was gonna say, if he's not there back yet,
genuinely I have no idea what just happened, but I'm here.
He dropped out. Well, you dropped. It's funny you dropped out at the perfect time, like in a segue in between two stories, because now we're gonna jump into this. Let's see if that pops up. Oh, so I got to go back over here. Okay, so here we go. Let's talk about some other fun stuff. The Nightmare on Elm Street box set. And, I think this happens with a lot of box sets for horror, especially the big three. Before all the hoopla and the hype about it, I think 50% of the audience is like, nah, I'm good. I got the Blu-ray box set. I think I'm going to be fine. And I'm a member of Blu-ray.com. I've been a member since 2007. I can't believe it's been that long.
Oh, gee, you're getting old, Lee.
Dude, yeah, man. I didn't realize I've been on that site that long. But what happens, at least in my case, is you have no desire because you already have the Blu-ray or even the DVDs or whatever. And the Blu-ray looks great and I don't really need it. But then you go into one of these forums and everybody starts giving you daily by the hour updates on if it's available at this site, if it's sold out.
Christian and a whore.
Shit. Now I want this thing. And this was my case for the Nightmare on Elm Street box set. I think I just talked to you guys about this too. I'm kind of out steelbooks now. Like I used to love steelbooks, but now I'm just like, I'd kind of rather just have the regular slipcase. But then all of a sudden, this thing sells out in like overnight for the exclusive one, right? Mm-hmm. So then I'm like, shit. Now it's a game to me. I have to go find it, and this is the one I ended up. And I dropped way too much money, by the way, too. But this is the one I ended up getting the freaking UK
Zavi. Yeah, you got the
Zavi edition. Mm-hmm. I got it off of this site, brotherbelial.com. God, please, God, let it be legit. I think it's legit, but. Yeah, this is the Nightmare on Elm Street 7 films UK limited edition steelbook collection 4K. Man, that's a mouthful. But yeah, I mean, look at all you get there. You know, you get the freaking. If I can I? Oh, I don't want to do that. I think I messed up there. Okay, yeah. So I gotta say though, no regrets. I do love the look of these steelbooks. I love that they're using the original art. Chat, I need your opinion on this. And chat, do you want this? Did you already pre-order it? If you couldn't get it, do you have regrets? But yeah. Now I guess I'll go to you guys. Nick. I think. Well, let me guess. Is Nick a diehard Freddy fan? I think Nick.
It's my second favorite series.
That's right. It is your second favorite. So, do you feel like you have to? It's my second favorite too. I think. Do you feel like you have to have this?
So, by the way, shout out to Christian. He does do the Lord's work with this kind of stuff.
Oh my God, Christian is that's your go-to. Like if you want any updates, he's got freaking WB guys living under his bed. I mean, just giving all the updates. Yeah, he's got it all, man.
And I actually got into it in my comment section the other day with somebody saying that, like on one of my videos, saying that Christian was like, all he does is spread misinformation or whatever. I was like, the fuck are you talking about? Like nobody does their research on physical media like Christian does, but. So shout out to Christian. He and I've asked him a lot of questions about this set specifically. So he's been the one that's kind of kept me in the know. Yeah. My buddy Rudy actually sent me the link yesterday because I hadn't pre-ordered yet because the steelbook was they're waiting on a restock. If it ends up happening, we don't know. And I wanted to hold out for that, but I just went ahead and pre-ordered the standard 4K set yesterday off Amazon. I think it jumped up to like 146.
Yeah.
And then Christian had that WB guy on his stream the other night talking about the Zavi set because a lot of people are like, why is it so much more? And part of it is because you're getting all the Blu-rays too. So it's not just the 4Ks. You're getting all the Blu-rays in it as well.
About $35 a piece.
Yeah. And when I talked to Christian, he was like, you want my opinion? Like, I would just go for the standard set. I wouldn't spend $300 on the Zavi set. I don't personally feel like it's worth it. And I was like, okay. And so, but it's the steals. The steals. That's what a lot of people are going after. So I have my pre-order in for the standard set. If and when they restock the steel books, I will cancel that pre-order and then order the steel book. But I have multiple friends that are keeping an eye on it for me. And they were like, Christian's one of them. As soon as it's available again, if it becomes available again, I will let you know so you can pre-order the steels. But yeah, basically, Lee, I'm looking at, hey, this month we're just going to rack up the ad revenue and the super chat. So that payout pays for all this shit I'm pre-ordering next month. So can't wait.
See, here's my problem because I'm a freaking completist and I got these two. And so I think that's what kind of pulled me over. And by the way, that's signed by 4 different actresses from the franchise, including Nancy Keys. But yeah, man, I think if I didn't have these, then I probably would have went for the standard set. Mm-hmm. But because I have these, I have to have a Nightmare on Elm Street, box set that looks like, I don't know if they're actually those steelbooks are going to
piss me off. You're going to piss me off because I feel the same way, and I have OCD.
Yep,
so
same.
I'm never going to let this go.
Oh my god.
Yeah,
Nick, just look at
they
it,
don't
Nick.
match.
Think about it.
I need them to match.
And here's the thing too: is like
I go live a couple more times this month, and I might be able to do it just with the super chats. I might just say, "Screw it, we're doing it."
If you get Pumpkin King in there, you will.
Pumpkin King, buy this for me.
I think sometimes, I think we've all done it. We've dropped way too much money on one item that we know that's way too much money. I shouldn't, but you do it. You do it at least once. And I would say I actually got both these for a good price. I think the most I've ever spent would be for that freaking Nightmare set. But after having it in your hands, and then you look online and you see what it sells for after it's sold out, and these will sell out.
Yeah,
you breathe that sigh of relief. You're like, okay, it's okay that I spent that money, because if I really, really needed the money, I could sell it and make a profit.
Yeah, well, Lee, in 2014 with that Halloween complete collection, I bought that for $90 when it came out. It was $90.
Yep.
And now I look back on it and I'm like, holy shit!
Hell of a deal.
Yeah, it's gorgeous, man. Like that thing is. I saw your video too, Nick. And you're right. This is
where my audio was going haywire when I was showing the set. It was so loud. I was trying to like mix it, and like it was bad. But whatever, But yeah, I got on this kick of like going back and looking at old sets I had, and I think it's this Nightmare 4K set that's coming out. That's kind of like made me be like, let's look back at some of these, and that's still my favorite one. The Friday one is great, and I was lucky I didn't have to buy that one. I had a subscriber message me like 3 years ago, "Hey, do you have this set?" And I was like, "No, but I plan on getting it." And he was like, "I got an extra one. I'm going to send it to you." I was like,
"Wow, that's nice." Shit.
So like they're both great, but for me, the reason I put the Halloween set just above it is because it was like historical to get all of those movies with all of those studios.
This will never happen again.
One set, yeah.
Well, here's the thing right here, okay? Halloween 6 producer's cut. People don't realize, especially the younger folk, I waited 19 years for this. 19 years. I had that freaking bootleg Halloween 6. It looked nasty. And I pulled it out. I still have the DVD. It's downstairs. I actually pulled it out the other day. I didn't realize I still had it. And I was like, let me throw in the old bootleg and see what it looks like. It looks like shit.
It does.
Surprisingly, the audio is actually not too bad for a freaking bootleg. But I love that I have it. But I remember when it came out, and if you watch the Halloween 25 Years of Terror DVD, they talk this. If you watch that, you get the feeling that this ain't never coming out. The producer's cut. So when this was announced, I had to stop everything I was doing. I was like, oh my, I've waited 19 years for this, and it's finally happened. And they're putting it in it. The funny thing is, when it came out, it looked glorious. Like it's like they forgot that they had this print. It was an interpositive, I think, just laying around. And when they found that, it's like they were shocked that they found it, and it was in such great condition. And we wish we could, like Nightmare 5. I think that's one of the big selling points for this one. You're going to get the uncut version, but is that uncut version going to look like the producer's cut of Halloween 6? I don't know. I doubt it. I hope it does. I really hope. Maybe you guys know more than I do, but
Christian has told me, we've talked about it, that I don't think he's seen it, but he's heard that they cleaned up the footage really well for Nightmare 5. So I'm hopeful with that one. But dude, that Halloween set getting announced, that was one of those moments. There's been a few moments like this in my life where you're at work, you're in the middle of doing something, it gets announced, and you're telling everyone at work, shut the fuck up. I don't care. Yeah. I'll get back to work in a minute. It's like, no, you're on the clock. It's like, I don't give a shit. Like that was one of those things. Like
I don't give a shit.
Yeah.
I'm the kind of person that tells the coworkers about it, and they're like, why are you excited about this? Yeah, check this out. You got to come over here. And they're just like, this fucking guy.
I don't bother anymore telling them, because I'm like, they don't care.
Yeah.
This fucking weirdo.
And again, like, Halloween, it just seems like it's always been on the forefront. It kicked off the friggin' slasher craze. And then even when it comes to box sets, they were the first one to do it the right way.
Documentaries,
legacy sequels. Like they're the people. Look, if Halloween isn't your favorite slasher franchise, you're wrong. It's okay. It's okay to be wrong, but you're wrong. Because it's the king. Michael is where it's at, y'all. Really quick though, I did want to point out Eli Cortez said in the chat that if you order from Zavi US, they have a 20% code.
Nice.
You can use.
Also,
so anybody
Lee,
that's looking for one, you know.
You got a super chat, Lee. I don't want you to miss it.
Oh yeah, hold on. Let me go up and get it. Hold on. I can scroll up here. It's way up there.
The chat is lively.
The chat is like, we appreciate you guys stopping in and listen to us talk our nonsense like we always do. Damn it, I'm not seeing it. Did I miss it?
To the starred.
If you go to the starred.
Yeah. Oh,
Yep.
okay. See, you guys know this stuff better than I do. Okay, that made it so easy. Jesus. Okay, optimize. He says, just got my old DVD player in, picked up the New York Ripper from this old movie store. I like Optimize already. This is my type of guy. I just watched it. Have you seen it? Thoughts? I still have not seen New York Ripper. I've heard the killer has like a duck voice, and I think I heard that from Christian. Excellent.
Yes.
But I love that he dug out I'm retro, like you read about. I freaking love retro. I remember in the 90s I was retro, which now everybody thinks of the 90s as retro. But I remember I went looking from store to store, pawn shop to pawn shop, looking for a Betamax machine, because I had heard that you could record anything on a Betamax blank tape and there was no copy protection. So I found this thing was massive too. It looked like it weighed like 100 pounds, and it was like that thick, and it had the pop top, out with the, and you couldn't find betas anywhere. So I had to find those, but I actually have one beta for the movie Looker. Actually, I have and it's in a big clamshell case or whatever. But yeah, man, I love all that retro stuff. I love going to I went to Goodwill recently, and you can still find VHS tapes at Goodwill. But it's hard to find a good horror. Do you guys do that? Like David, do you go to looking for VHS tapes? And because I don't look for DVDs, I don't buy DVDs, but I'll buy VHS if I see something that I like.
I used to collect that stuff in my 20s and all that, but once I, started moving around a little bit too much and was just like, I can't carry everything with me.
Yeah,
I've got to learn to let go, even though I do love these things. So yeah, but my family was a Betamax family as well, way back in the day. So I remember going to the video store and we couldn't rent the movie we wanted to watch because they didn't have multiple copies on Betamax. They only had VHS. But I used to have a fun little VHS collection, the Evil Dead movies, Orgasmo, SLC Punk, Stir of Echoes, all sorts of fun stuff in there. Well, Jaws, every time they put out Jaws, I'd rebuy it.
Yeah. By the way, New York Rippers is great. It is really, really fun. It's really mean. It's Italian horror, which is not my strong suit, but I got into it. I took a deep dive into the ones that people told me to watch so we could cover it for UNITA. And one of the ones I really enjoyed was the New York Ripper. It's a mean movie. So Lee, I think you'd really dig it. I do.
It's been on my list because it's a Giallo movie, so I've been meaning to watch it. This is kind of a good, I don't know if it's still on the same topic, but as far as those Christian's got it right, because he's got one foot into he can do reviews and whatnot, and he's got another foot into the physical media channel type, I guess. And I don't know about you guys, but I know some of those physical media channels, I think a lot of them, they go out and they buy pretty much every big, I'd say the boutique stores, they tend to buy all of those. And when I'm watching these, I'm just thinking man, I just, you were just talking about, Davey, the room to put all this stuff. I don't buy I'll be, up front right now. I don't really buy a lot in the way of physical media. If it's something big, like this box set that's coming out for Nightmare, yes, I'll jump on it. But it might be a couple of times a year now, guys, that I actually order something or buy something. I just because, and I hate to say it, but and I love physical media, but streaming has actually made me buy less, because Wait, it's on Tubi. Shit, there it is.
It's not even just the streaming for me. It really is just the cost of things like that.
Yeah.
That definitely factored into it. But yeah, see, Christian is, he worked his ass off, and he has partnerships now with a lot of these studios, so he doesn't even have to buy these movies anymore. They get sent to him, and he just has to essentially meet a deadline, like, hey, you got to do this review. We want this up by this day or whatever, and he just does it. And and obviously he loves to do that. Like, he loves movies. So
yeah, and nothing wrong with, like, if that's you love doing that, that's your hobby. I'm not saying you shouldn't buy anything.
No, I'm just saying, like, when you're talking about, like, where do you the room and the space, Christian has told me many times, he's like, dude, on my like counter in my kitchen, I have stacks of movies that I still haven't even gotten to. Like, I don't know where to put them. And so it's like, trust me, like, even these guys that are big time with this stuff, they're like, I got too much shit. Like, it does get to a point where it's like, I got too much shit.
Dave Vanderhoff, I used to be like you. I really did. It did get to be a problem at one time. This was years ago, probably about a decade ago. I'm an early adopter. I was purple. Purple is when you're Blu-ray and HD DVD. I was purple. I had the player of each, and I would buy. I wouldn't say I'd buy every week, but if it was a movie that I liked, not loved, but even liked, I would buy it, and my collection was growing and growing and growing. And I think YouTube kind of pulled me away a little bit, because you were talking about like sponsorships and stuff like that. I would have like and still to this day I have HorrorPack. And I've had a thing with HorrorPack for like the last 4 or 5 years now, and they send me the HorrorPack every month. And my deal with them is I do an unbox of it, and they send it to me for free. So I literally have like 4. I keep all my movies in like a drawer, except for up here in my studios where I have my horror movies. But I have like probably 3 dresser drawers full of HorrorPack Blu-rays. And most of them, I'm not going to lie, I haven't even pulled off the shrink wrap. And I think that's part of the thing. Is like, I have all these movies that I'm not even going to get to. So I talk myself out of buying stuff a lot easier now than I used to, but more power to Dave. It's your money, it's your dollar. And if that's your hobby and you love buying physical media, by God, do it, man. You get one life, enjoy it. I love physical media. We all have our own little niches and hobbies and whatnot. Davey, I'm getting the jive from you that you don't really buy everything now.
I used to buy a lot more physical media. When I was living up in Alaska still, I worked at an independent record store. So this was before the advent of like Blu-ray and stuff. So it was still DVD, but I was able to get things at a way better price and get things early. So this is like back in the Dawn of the Dead DVD box set days and all that kind of stuff. So certain franchises I will buy the Halloween movies as they come out. I will buy them on physical media. Evil Dead, I'm going to buy those on physical media.
Yeah.
So certain films, if they really hit me, like I have a copy of The Batman with Rob Pattinson on,
me too. I love The Batman.
Like I have that on physical media. So certain ones, that if they really make an impression and I don't want to be without them, then I'll do that. And then with like fan films and stuff, like I've got all the Never Hike Alones, Dylan's New Nightmare, all that. Like I like having that kind of stuff on physical media as well, just to support.
Yeah, that's cool, because you're supporting too.
But yeah, and sometimes it's weird. I have like a little bit of a, like, one of the things that I don't know why this stuff irks me. It almost is just like a certain vibe I get from one channel maybe over another, where I'm just like, wow, these people that like, they don't really seem to care about the movie. They just seem to care about the fact that they can like shill this new release. It's more about sharing a discount code and like talking about something that like, I didn't even know you were passionate about this, but now all of a sudden like you suddenly are. And that's probably just like the punk rocker in me that's sort of like, looking at people and being like, are you a poser? But I without naming anyone in particular. And that what I love about Christian's channel is like, for him, it's always about like the movie. It's always about celebrating the piece of art, not just like the physical media of it. But it is fun, when these new releases come out and they look totally gorgeous and they have new features and all that stuff. It's fun for us horror nerds, you know. We've all got our thing for sure. And I'm blown away. Eli has like just under 4,700 Blu-rays or whatever he said in the chat there.
Wow, that's insane. That's awesome.
Yeah, that's wild. But yeah, I mean, it is one of those things where, yeah, I guess you just have to get a storage unit at some point, right? Like, you know, that's just where it's going to go, especially with all these box sets. Just wait until the next box gets released for all the Halloween stuff. Although I guess somebody did they made a custom like Myers house.
Yeah. That's
all of
I've
the
seen
thick
that going
books
around.
or whatever. That's pretty cool.
I guess we can shift into tonight's main topic is Freddy and Jason. We kind of touched on Freddy, but we'll be talking a little bit more about Freddy and Jason. We'll talk about like some of our favorite moments, our favorite kills, favorite movies, I guess, of each franchise. And I'll start with you, Nick. Of the two, you prefer Nightmare over Jason, right?
Yes. Yeah.
Okay. My question for you is, what is it about Freddy Krueger that really made you gravitate towards him? And what age did you like discover Freddy Krueger and like were hooked?
I mean, I think a fairer question would be, what isn't it that hooks you to Freddy Krueger? Because like, Robert Englund is. I have a video coming out tomorrow on my channel. It's looking at Hellraiser because I will. It's actually titled Hellraiser is the most underrated horror franchise, and I will maintain that. Yeah. You look at Englund and you look at Bradley and the roles, and they own those roles. Like they're just iconic for that character, and so part of it is Robert Englund and his portrayal, the look, but I think it's the conceit. Like the. In your dreams, like you're never safe from this guy. And not only is like sleep is supposed to be your getaway as a human. That's when your brain shuts down. You don't have to worry about the worries of life, the stressors, none of that. Like you are asleep. But Freddy says, that's when I come to kill you. Furthermore, you're in his world now, bitch. So like there's no escape. You can't fight this guy. Like you're screwed. So I remember watching that. I think I saw the first Nightmare at 5 or 6. And I remember Johnny Depp's scene traumatized the shit out of me. Yeah. I don't even know why. Part of it was because we used to stay at my grandparents' house every weekend. And my Uncle David's old room, he had a waterbed. And me and my siblings would always argue when we went there every weekend who got Uncle David's room for the weekend. Because we all wanted the waterbed. And I feel like when I saw Nightmare on Elm Street, I stopped asking to take my Uncle David's room. Like, I'm like, no, dude, I'm good. Like, I don't, I'll stay in Uncle Todd's room. But like, so I just think everything about it, from the character's design to the one portraying the character to the conceit of the character, I just think it all worked. I think that they got a little overzealous at times. They misread the public, specifically with Freddy's Dead, where they were like, oh, so you guys want Freddy to be like a cartoon. And then they learned very quickly, no, we don't. Oh, okay, shit, our bad. But I just think that he's incredible. And I mean, you ask about Friday, and this may not be popular to, some in the chat, but I would put Hellraiser over Friday. I like the Hellraiser franchise more than I like Friday the 13th. There's some great Friday movies, but I find a lot of them to be middling at best. Whereas I find the best Hellraiser movies to be head and shoulders above most of these franchises. Hellbound, it's one of my favorite horror movies of the 80s, if not my favorite horror movie of the 1980s. Like, it's just, I don't know. So, but Freddy, yeah, it's Michael, Freddy, and then probably Pinhead for me.
Dude, the freaking Hellraiser. I'm actually putting together a list of most terrifying kills. There's like great, and I've done actually lists in the past for like greatest horror kills, but my wife actually came up with this idea. She was like, how about most terrifying, like kills that are just shockingly scary? And the first thing I thought of when she said that, was Frank's death at the end of Hellraiser. Jesus wept. Oh, and the freaking chains. Like, it's undeniable. I think my mom is super. We were raised religious, and my mom is very, very religious. And last night, when I was editing that Hellraiser video together, I had the clip
from Hellraiser 3 with the stigmata scene where he poses in front of the cross and he says, I am the way. I sent it in our group chat and my mom said, what is that? Is that Candyman? I said, no, Mom, that's Hellraiser. And I don't think you'd like that scene very much. But like, there are so many moments in that series that are like, Jesus, like no pun intended. Like, it's like, this is messed up. Hellraiser takes it to another level. I mean, I think it's above all the horror franchises just in terms of like how nasty and like messed up that shit is, because it's really messed up.
Those practical effects in the first movie and second movie, I think they're right up there with The Thing as far as like how amazing they are. Frank's transformation throughout the movie is just mesmerizing. And then taking this idea of lust and making that a major plot point of the movie. Hellraiser does, you know, I think every major horror franchise doesn't live up to their potential, meaning they descend in quality eventually, you know. But the greatest, they're great because they have a killer that has a certain thing about them, like that's probably better than all other killers. You know, like say Pinhead. Pinhead's got this, or like that's the one killer I would not want to be in a room with. Out of all horror killers, get me the fuck away from Pinhead. Okay?
I said it in my video. He has this refined sense of like menace to him. He's maniacal. He's evil, but he's like cordial and polite. And like, he's trying to sell you a dream. Like, oh, it's going to be great. I mean, you're going to be tortured forever. And this is really just for my enjoyment, but like pain, pleasure, they're pretty much the same thing, right? Like, it's so sick and twisted how that character is and how Doug Bradley just delivers it. It's like you almost kind of you're like, yeah, I'll go with you, dude. Whatever, you know. Like my mom said that's how it was with Tony Todd as Candyman. When she's like, when we saw that movie, when that came out, there were so many people mesmerized by him, where they were just like, I'd have gone with him. Screw it. Like, yeah, there's just something about it, man. And yeah, so, but long-winded way of saying Freddy is one of those two. And I think that's the biggest draw for me.
Yeah, bringing it back to Freddy, I think Freddy and Pinhead do have something in common where they're in it's almost like a different world. You have entered my world. You have fucked up royally. Whatever you did to end up here, you know, be it you were the parents of somebody that killed Freddy Krueger, you know, sorry for you, or you opened the box. And when you open that box and when Pinhead comes into your world, you're just like, oh fuck, I have fucked up royally. It's over.
He doesn't care who opened it. He doesn't care why you opened it.
He doesn't care.
You opened it. We're
you fucked
here
up.
For you. Yeah. Like,
I don't care what you did. I don't care how innocent you are. You opened the box, and now somebody's got to pay. Either you got to die, or you better get me somebody to because my thirst for blood is real. And the sheath doesn't go back with the knife until it's spilled blood. But 40.
Well, most people though, when they open up the lament configuration aren't great people. So
true. They stumbled, down a path they probably shouldn't have.
What I love about that Hellraiser, especially the first one, is to me it reminds me so much of like an Edgar Allan Poe story. It's like Clive Barker doing this Edgar Allan Poe, like these people that are, you know, doing terrible things and then getting their comeuppance. And there's just something sick and twisted about it. I mean, Pinhead and the other Cenobites in the first film are like, I don't even know if I consider them the main villains of the movie.
They're not
like the people. The people are,
Frank and Julia.
Frank and Julia.
You just always, as a kid, I would always see Pinhead on the VHS cover, and then when I watched the movie the first time, I'm like, oh wow, he's sort
Pinhead's
of like a
the good
byproduct.
guy.
Yeah, he's sort of there to like to be the bad guy for the bad guys.
he's restoring order. Like that's his thing. It's like, okay, this shit's getting out of control. She's bringing dudes here saying she's gonna bang them, and she's just feeding them to Frank. Like, what the fuck's going on here? I gotta intervene. Yeah, he's like the dad.
Yeah, there's something about Pinhead where, because he's not really the bad guy. Like you said, it's Frank and Julia. They're the ones that you hate in this movie. And you want Pinhead to come out. I guess you could sort of compare Pinhead to Jason in a sense, because Jason was drowned, you know? So in a way, he's not really the villain, but you entered his turf and he's going to kill you because every time somebody comes into his campground, he's automatically brought back. And I'm wanting to get psychological here with these killers, because that's part of the reason why we love all these killers so much, because there's a deep psychological aspect to all of them. But when you enter Jason's ground, he's automatically brought back that memory of him being drowned by camp counselors. So bringing it back to Freddy Krueger, though. For me, I'll answer what it was. You know what? Before I do that, let me get this super chat here. I get on a rant. I love talking about this stuff. Optimize. I recommend Friday the 13th Vengeance and Vengeance 2 Bloodlines, 2 great fan films. I've been recommended those quite a few times. Have you guys seen those yet? Any of them?
I don't know if I have. Are those the ones that had Lar Park Lincoln was in?
No, I think that's Rose.
Both of those.
Rose.
Oh, there you go.
Something like that.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I've seen that one. Okay. Yeah, I don't think I've seen these. Yeah.
Okay. Well, you know what? I'll try Optimize. Because I've had a lot of people ask me to watch Vengeance, so I'll try to give it a watch, and I'll let you know what I think. Matt Draper, what's up, brother? He says Jason Voorhees did nothing wrong. Please discuss. And I kind of segued into that as well. No, I mean, really, you can't even there's no debate. I mean, he was a child, and he absolutely did nothing wrong, and it affected his mother. Look, to get real here, losing a child is probably the worst imaginable thing known to me. I've known people that have lost children, people that are close to me that have lost children, and it's, no joke. It's the most unimaginable pain and suffering you can possibly imagine. So if you really want to try to bring some realism to the Friday the 13th franchise, just think of that pain that Pamela Voorhees, her son freaking drowned because they weren't paying attention to him. So you can understand how that could make a mother go completely insane. To me, it's always been interesting too how they were able to make a franchise out of Friday the 13th, because the first movie is about a mother's loss and her wanting to get her revenge. And I think after people watched that first movie and seeing Jason come out of the water at the end, I wonder what their headspace was that was just kind of like a stinger at the end and we're never going to see another movie. I don't know. I'm curious to see what they would have thought. But
I mean, I can tell you as a parent, Lee, if people were responsible for my son's death, I would kill every single last one.
Exactly. Yeah.
Every single one. That's what made Saw 3 so hard for me to watch too. Cause it's like, this guy is having to come to terms with forgiving them. How could you do that? I couldn't. I'd want to see you all die. I'm just being honest. I don't know. Maybe I'm a dick.
Yeah. It probably takes, years, if ever, to come back from something like that.
One thing I've been thinking over the last year and a half, every time I revisit the Friday the 13th, the original Friday the 13th film, is I had this epiphany a handful of times ago when I watched it, where I was like, so Pamela, it could be that she's hallucinating the image of Jason drowning, right? She can see him drowning and sees him begging for help. Right? We get that clear as day. Maybe it's a cinematic sort of tableau kind of thing that they're doing, or it is an actual memory of hers. So I've been what if Pamela just kind of let it happen? And then she had a, psychotic break and blames it on the kids. But
wow.
I've always questioned, what is Pamela's level of responsibility here? Did she have a moment of weakness where it was maybe losing this thing that she perhaps sees as a burden, this child that could be a burden for her, could free her, and so she just sort of lets it happen and doesn't do anything about it? And so that's one of those things that I don't it would put a totally different spin on the whole way that you look at the franchise. But I'm curious to see how they approach it in the Crystal Lake TV show. But yeah, I sort of, now when I watch the original film, I kind of look at it from that perspective of she's psycho and she's been psycho. Jason dying did not turn her into this. She had problems before all of that. And now the way she's trying to convince herself that it isn't her fault is by blaming the kids and killing the kids. And like, we've seen this kind of stuff happen in real life where people have some sort of psychotic break and they feel that they're justified in what they do when they go out and get revenge, or just, they think they're getting revenge for something that no one was even responsible for in the first place. So that's sort of my little like hot take headcanon that I have with Pamela.
Well, I've always thought that Pamela was very interesting, and I always thought that she wasn't really given her due after the first movie. I always felt like I want to explore Pamela a little more, and I even did like a stream with Deborah Voorhees from Friday 5 years ago. Like, wow, I mean, it might have been like 8 years ago, something like that. And she reached out to me. She was like, we should do like just a discussion about Pamela Voorhees and what makes her tick, that maybe look at it from a psychological angle. So I'm really curious about Crystal Lake, and I'm glad that they're making Pamela kind of the center of the show and not Jason, because I want Jason and I want to get to Jason, but I don't want to start with Jason. I want them to fully explore Pamela as a character. I want to get to know her more. She seems like she's going to be a little younger in this, although Linda Cardellini, I think she's probably around my age. She's probably like early 50s, something like that. And I think
they're around. I think she's around the same age Betsy Palmer was in the first.
What?
I think so,
oh
but that's
God,
just how
right.
That's how wild it is that like people just used to look older. It's just something that life was tougher. And
no, I saw that
cigarettes.
actually. They had like one of the Golden Girls next to like I think it was like Sophie Vergara or somebody like that.
Yeah,
I probably made that name up, but a 53-year-old and a 53-year-old, and they just look completely different. And it could be hairstyles and whatnot too, but yeah, man, we're living in a world where 50 is the new 30. I guess.
Yeah.
I don't know.
But I got the feeling that, so I keep on checking the IMDb for Crystal Lake to see if anything's updated. The Callum Vinson kid that's playing, little Jason, he's only listed for one episode and none of that has changed.
Wow.
Now, Linda Cardellini, they don't list how many episodes. So you just figure she's going to be in every episode. And then the kid that Zachary Branch, I think is the kid's name, that's playing adult Jason, he's only listed for one episode. So I'm starting to get the feeling that Jason will drown in the very first episode.
Yeah.
And then we see basically, instead of taking 15 years off and having the bad water and all that stuff, like Pamela just goes nuts right away. And we kind of get the first film within the next handful of episodes. And then in the last episode, we get adult Jason. That's just like, it's just the vibe I'm kind of getting from what they're doing there.
Yeah, because it's a TV series, I'm guessing probably 8 to 10 episodes. It's still a slasher type property. So my guess is because it's a TV series, they're going to explore the characters deeper, and you're going to have probably subplots with characters. You might have like a bully type character or something like that, and you're going to have like a love interest, and you're going to have the jock, and I think they're going to have every different type of character there. But I'm hoping that they go a little deeper psychologically with Pamela, maybe giving us some of her actual upbringing and backstory. And I don't know, I guess what makes her tick, because I do find Pamela very interesting. I don't know, where are you with it, Nick? Are you really curious about Pamela?
I'm really curious about Linda Cardellini. I want to know if she's single. No. Yeah, I mean, I am for sure. I think it's anything, although I said earlier, Friday the 13th isn't like one of my first loves. I can't lie, 15 years is a long, long time. 16 actually. So
16, yeah.
I'm looking forward to seeing some new Friday the 13th content. And I think that her casting was a great casting decision, but based off of, what Davey said as well. Yeah. I'm curious to see how the setup is a kid Jason going to die in the first episode, and then we're going to see her snap immediately leading up to adult Jason at the end. I kind of get the same vibe. And as far as what the chat's saying, she could be my mommy any day. I'll just, I'm shameless about that. But I'm looking forward to it.
I guess going over to, it's confusing when you have a TV series, but then you also have the Jason universe at the same time, and they're both putting out content at the same time. I don't know, man. It's kind of weird.
No, you said content. He
I
said
did.
content, baby.
You can't
the
say
Jason
that
universe is putting out content.
Content.
Yeah.
That's what everything is these days, right? It's content. It's not like it was 20, 30 years ago.
Well, I just mean because they're not really putting out anything. Like, I'll be totally honest, the vignette doesn't look terrible. Like, I actually was like, okay, this doesn't look terrible. It's not what I want for the future of Friday the 13th, but it doesn't look terrible.
Yeah. It looks too good for what it is, really. I mean, if it's only 13 minutes.
But it just sounds, I really get the vibe from them that they're like, man, how can we string these people along? Like, what can we say or do to keep these people interested? And like, one of the biggest nothing burgers out of that Comic-Con panel was when it was like, yes, we have a game and a movie in development. Oh, really? Guys, I have my second child in development. I don't have a partner right now, but it's coming. It's going to happen. One day it's going to happen. You know what I mean? It's like, it just seems like one of those things where it's like, you want to dangle the carrot just enough so they're like, ooh. Yeah. But like, I don't really think they actually have anything in the early stages. I'm going to be totally honest, because we haven't seen anybody, Deadline, Variety, Bloody Disgusting. Nobody has whispered a word on anything to do with Friday the 13th, aside from Crystal Lake. So it's just like, you know what I mean? Like, yeah, I know you want to do these things. I don't think you guys actually are right now, personally.
But they do have Atomic Monster that was there with them at Comic-Con. So we could be getting an announcement. I wouldn't be surprised if we get an announcement that Blumhouse and Atomic Monster are working on a movie. And I wouldn't be surprised. I know this is probably not the news that we want, but I just get a feeling that Sweet Revenge is an audition for Mike P. Nelson to also direct a film, a full-length feature, because he did the Wrong Turn remake. He's doing that Silent Night, Deadly Night remake that's coming out in December. If this short film gets, a good amount of buzz, and then depending on what happens with Silent Night, Deadly Night, I could see it as like they've already kind of got their guy, right? So I don't know. I wouldn't hold your breath on any. I think the earliest we'd see a movie would be, there's a Friday the 13th. The first Friday the 13th in 2027 is in August. So 2 years from the release of the Sweet Revenge trailer, that would be the earliest I could see them putting out a Friday the 13th film.
Yeah, maybe that's what they're shooting for. But like, how do you even track that? Like, when Sweet Revenge comes out,
it's a lot of time.
And I'm going to say too, I think Silent Night, Deadly Night's going to make some money. I actually do. No, guys, I'm not sitting here saying it's going to be Terrifier 3 where it's going to make like 94 million. No, but I think that some people might call us crazy, but I think the three of us on this panel would agree. Rowan Campbell has a fan base because of Halloween Ends. He just
he's great. He's awesome.
And then furthermore, you've got it's Cineverse. It's the team behind Terrifier. So they're going to put some money into the marketing machine here. I could see this movie making like 20 million bucks, and I'm sure the budget's probably like 2 or 3 million. So I just hope Rowan doesn't die so he can come back for a sequel to this, because I'm already in. Give me 5 more Silent Night, Deadly Nights. I'll sign up right now.
Oh, me too, dude. I love that franchise, Silent Night, Deadly Night. We didn't talk about did we talk about Silent Night, Deadly Night on the last stream?
We talked
no, because we did all Halloween, didn't we?
Yeah.
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 I think we did briefly mention that we thought the teaser looked cool. I do remember that, but I don't think we talked like in depth about it. No.
I don't know if the teaser was out because it was Comic-Con, right? Was it out yet?
Maybe no, I don't think it was. I think Comic-Con happened after.
But it looks awesome. Like, if Rowan Campbell is great, and Andy, it's going to be December 12th, I believe, is when the movie.
My son's birthday,
unrated in the theater.
My kid's 6-year-old. He's going to be 6. Let's go.
Perfect time
for your birthday.
Let's ruin Santa. Let's ruin Santa.
The reason I highlighted Destiny's comment here is she mentions Mutilator 2, and I noticed Piz, he's in Mutilator 2 or something like that, but I guess you can actually watch it now. You guys haven't watched that yet, have you?
No.
Like, I wonder, have you seen the original Mutilator?
I haven't.
I think so.
A Fall Break. Yeah, I like the original Mutilator. It's pretty good, but I'm curious about this new one. I've got a bad feeling.
I'm gonna check. Hey, I'm gonna check it out though. I told Piz, I was
Yeah.
like, I'm gonna check this out just because Piz is in it. Like, I want to see.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Mary Robertson, hi Drumdums. Hi everyone. Yes, they need to get something rolling on the Jason. It's probably money and rights issues. Yeah, I mean, who knows where we will be a year from now? You know, like, can you imagine a year from now we'll be looking back? We will have already had a Crystal Lake show. Will we
We could all
ever
be
see-
dead. You know,
What's it? Say that again.
we could all be dead.
We could all be dead. It could all come to a crashing halt. Who knows? So. I still don't even believe Crystal Lake TV show is happening, and I can actually see it. I feel like something's going to fall through.
It's
They're going to
AI.
stop production.
No, it's happening.
You think?
I think that what they might be trying to do is they might try to merge the two at some point. I don't know. I feel like I don't know. I think after a few seasons of this Crystal Lake show, or after 2 seasons, they're going to want to go to film. If they're not going to try to merge the two, if they're not going to try to play nice with each other, then maybe that's one of the reasons why Jason looks so like
shitty.
Different. Yeah, and the mask, like in that shot there that's in the background, there's a couple shots in the trailer where they use lighting, and yes, it has more characteristic to it than the one that whatever that eggshell clay thing they showed off at I don't understand at Comic-Con. Bring the thing you actually use, assholes. Like, what
That
are you
looked
guys
horrible.
doing? Yeah, showing this clean thing off. No. Bring the one that actually is like stinks and has all the fake blood on it or whatever.
Yeah.
Like, show that thing off at Comic-Con to really get people
Give me that stank.
pumped up. Yes, exactly.
Highlighting Liana there, are we going to see Sackhead, or are they just going to bypass that? Do you think?
I hope
maybe, because
in Sweet Revenge, no, we're not.
Yeah,
Gonna see
well,
him
not in Sweet Revenge, but like Eli was stating earlier that the TV show was gonna, and I don't know how official this is, but it's gonna cover ground all the way up to part 3. And I think he just means the hockey mask. I think that's what he's getting at. So I'm wondering if they gotta touch on the Sackhead. I mean, because for the longest time, the Sackhead was my favorite Jason. I don't know if I can say that now, but I've always loved the Sackhead. There's something creepy about a guy in a freaking potato sack. And to me, that's a different, we're in a multiverse in part 2. We really are, because that Jason is a completely different Jason. Even if you set aside the Sackhead,
sure,
that's somebody else. That's not the Jason that we see in 3 and on. That's some hillbilly hick guy that's in love with his cousin that lives in a shack.
Hell yeah, brother.
And because even if you look at the beginning of part 3 and part 2, there's not the segue just doesn't feel, I don't know what the word is. It doesn't feel smooth, like a smooth segue. He just kind of shows up out of the blue, and he's bald. Like, so he comes through the window, his hair's long at the beginning of part 3. What did he stop by the local barber and shave his head or something like?
Yeah.
There's something off, you know.
Well, but you know, the question's for you, chat. Do you guys think we're going to see Jason's sack? Let us know if you think we're going to see Jason's sack.
Which sack are we talking about?
Sound off in the comments.
Is he going to be wearing boxers or?
He looks like a tidy whitey guy. No, he looks like a tidy brownie guy, like Sid Haig and Devil's Rejects. That's what he looks like.
I think Jason's Commando. Let's get down to the real nuts and bolts of this conversation, okay?
No pun intended.
Nuts and bolts, twigs and berries. I think Jason. I don't think Jason wears underwear. I think he goes Commando. You know,
why would he? You know, why would he wear underwear? Especially once he's undead. You know, why even worry about it? You know.
Yeah, the swamp ass must be freaking real, though.
Oh, now hold on, Lee. He gets in that lake quite a bit. Okay, you know, he cools down.
That's true.
Like, have you guys ever been to a festival, a rock festival, and at the end of the day, and let's say it's really hot outside, like 95 degrees, and you know what I'm getting at, and then you're walking home, and you're walking in like almost a bow-legged stance because you got some stuff going on that's just like way too tough to deal with.
Things are sticking to things, and it's
it's just not fun. It's not fun. And I think that's what's going on with Jason all the time. Maybe that's why he's killing people, because he's so damn pissed that he's got freaking swamp ass.
His nuts keep sticking to his leg, bro. He's
gotta have some baby powder. You know, when I was still playing music, it's like you baby powder's your friend. Okay, you got to get through the rest of the night after your set, so you want to be comfortable.
This is an Instagram clip if I ever heard one. Who's talking about Jason's swamp ass? You come to hit the bricks to get that talk.
Yeah, nobody else is doing that.
We will get Sackhead Jason. I think we will get him. I think that's the way to go. In season 2, get him, put the sack on.
I mean, I still say that Sackhead Jason is like the meanest Jason. Like that is, and a lot of people will be like, oh no, like, part 7 Jason. I don't know, man. Sackhead Jason seems like the most animalistic Jason there is. Like that's just.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, he's a freaking, like I said, he's a multiverse Jason. He somehow slipped in. He's like the Andrew Garfield Jason of the Tom Holland Jason that we have now.
Yeah, he's a runner. He's he's a little more freaky deaky there. He's agile. He's the Jalo Jason, Jalo Jason.
The Jalo. Yeah, you think of like Town That Dreaded. How many Sackhead killers have there been? I think there's Town That Dreaded Sundown, Jason Part 2. There's another one. Am I missing something? Triangle had a Sackhead killer.
Yeah.
Oh, what do we got?
Dark Knight of the Scarecrow or whatever, maybe.
Yeah. Hey, 12 and a half weeks until Halloween. Are you guys are you guys seeing in your local stores, your TJ Maxx and your Home Depot, and starting to see the Halloween stuff?
I'll let you know next weekend. I haven't been going to those stores, but my son will be back on Saturday, and I know the first thing he's going to want to do on Sunday is go to the store. So I'll let you know. But I've seen a lot of people posting that stuff is out in their stores. So yeah, we had this conversation. God, I can't remember if it was on a stream of mine or if we talked about this here, but like, a lot of people are like, oh, are they doing this too early? Like it's getting earlier and earlier every year.
Oh, yeah.
And I was just like, well, people keep buying this shit. So no, it was me and Christian talking about it. I'm like, if people keep buying it, they're going to keep putting it out earlier. So if you got a problem,
I think Halloween gets more and more popular every year. The holiday, I think it gets more and more popular every year. People love. I think social media has really kicked up the love for Halloween. I think it's bringing more horror fans over, honestly, too. But I think it's a great thing, and I think that one indicator of that is that we're seeing people like they're already starting to get antsy by June timeframe. Like I'm ready for freaking Halloween, and I think it's also like the actual weather of the time. It's starting to cool down.
I don't want to derail, but we're talking about Sackhead Jason. We're talking about Friday too. I just want to let you guys know. I'm not going to give you the details, but it is set and it's set in stone. The next You Need a episode, we are having an alum from Friday the 13th part 2 on there.
Fuck yeah.
Once I have the exact day, I'll make the announcement post, but we've already worked it out, and she's not going to charge us $1,000 an hour. That's awesome. I don't know. That's good. Yeah, Ashley Lawrence's agent wanted $1,000 an hour, or manager.
Are you serious?
Yeah, I'm dead serious. And me and Christian were like, absolutely not.
Absolutely not.
I'd rather open up the lament configuration.
Yeah.
So are you going to have to pay this person that's coming on from part 2?
No. Okay. It was a mutual friend, someone that's friends with her and watches our podcast was like, hey, so-and-so wants to, was interested and, you should reach out to her. So I reached out to her and she's like, yeah, absolutely. Like, what does this week look like? Not this week, the week of August 18th is when we're recording it. But she's, I'll just tell you guys, it's Vicky from part 2.
Nice.
Yeah. Lauren Marie Taylor? Yeah. So, we're excited Christian told me to watch a movie called Girls Night Out.
Yeah.
I guess she's in that movie. I haven't seen it. She was also in A Violent Nature. She came back to acting for that one.
Nice.
So we're excited to talk to her. Friday Part 2 is one of my favorite Friday movies. So
me too.
I'll ask her how Jason's sack smelled. I'll make sure to ask her.
It's no Jason Takes Manhattan.
Yeah. Hey, Christian would say that seriously,
I saw Brandon Tabato's, but we were just talking about Brandon last time. We should just do a Brandon segment because and when Brandon posts, he doesn't post to one horror group. He posts to 10 horror groups because he wants to make sure everybody knows that Jason Takes Manhattan is the number 3 best Friday movie. Don't get me wrong. I like Jason Takes Manhattan. I love freaking seeing Jason throw somebody headfirst into a trash can just like the next guy. But 3rd best in the franchise? Really?
That's pretty rough. Pretty rough.
That's pretty rough.
But
That's
yeah,
just
I
a
had
lot about your franchise too.
Nostalgia, I get it. Look at me. I mean, we talked about this a million times. Like this guy's in my top 5. So you know, like it was the first one I saw. I get it.
But yeah, man, and I used to hate Jason Takes Manhattan. And matter of fact, if you look at my very first review for Jason Takes Manhattan, I was far unkind to that movie. But I've come around to it where I actually have a really good time with it now. I like I think I come around to like the late 80s because I think the first half of the 80s and the second half of the 80s are two very different timelines in terms of like horror movies, slashers. They just feel different in the late 80s. They're brighter. I guess the fun is kind of ratcheted up. Whereas there's a darkness, I think, to slasher movies in like say 80 to 84.
Yeah.
And I tend to like the darker ones. And maybe that's why it's hard for me to put Jason Takes Manhattan as number 3 in the franchise.
They're way more mean-spirited in the early 80s, and they just have a dangerous, grittier feel.
87 was when it changed, I think.
Yeah,
the MPAA just started chopping shit out, and then they became like, they just almost became like comedies, just like something fun to go watch.
Yeah,
you know, because there
the
wasn't
scare factor's gone. Like it's a non-existent.
Yeah, you're rooting for Freddy and you're rooting for Jason, and they don't. Well, at least in A Nightmare on Elm Street, they still packed a punch with some of the kills in the later sequels. But shit, once you get to like pretty much part 5 and on in Friday the 13th, the MPAA is gutting so much of the gore until, you know, Jason goes to hell.
I'd make the argument that Takes Manhattan would be a far better movie without the MPAA. I mean, one of my favorite kills, I guess, in concept in the franchise is the lava rock kill, like in the sauna. Like, I thought that was so cool. And they just hacked it to shit. So you don't see like any of it. Like, can you imagine what it would have looked like to get that thing going through the dude's chest, all the blood? Like, that would have been so sick. But the MPAA really ruined some movies in that era.
It could like melt through and the blood's like bubbling and boiling coming out. Great. This is funnier than talking about Jason Sack. This is more fun than that. I like this more.
We're in a safe
speak for yourself, okay? You know,
well, even a New Beginning, I think it's one of those things where it's like, I know that it's a huge amount of fans. To me, it's not the fact that it's not really Jason. Like, I don't really give a shit about that because it feels like Jason. But it's like you have this movie that has all this TNA and pretty much every kill is off screen. And it's like, that's the thing that holds back A New Beginning for me. If it had all the gore like there restored or whatever, like I think that movie would climb up a few notches for me. But
well, I think the problem with part 5, and we'll bounce around between entries because that's the fun thing about Friday the 13th is there's just so much to poke at. But part 5, I think there's too many kills. I think that's what hurts the movie because I think you got to have. I think there's a sweet spot in terms of characters and kills, so that way you can kind of settle in and get to know those characters a little bit. And I think the kills they cancel each other out when you have too many of them, you know, because you're trying to shove everything in there. And every time I watch part 5, it's like a million checkpoints in the movie because there's so many freaking kills. And then I think one of the biggest craziest moments is in part 5, and we're gonna get real. We're back to freaking Sack Jason here, okay? The serenade when the guy is taking a dump, okay? He's out in the outhouse and his girlfriend comes. Like, put yourself in this situation, okay? You got to go to the bathroom, you go to the outhouse, you're going number 2, and then your girlfriend's like leaning over the side of the outhouse and she's like, "Ooh, baby." And I think the first thing I would do would be like, "Can you kindly get the fuck out of here? I'm trying to go to the." It's just, what are we doing? But nope, that's Jason part 5 for you, man. It's just, maybe it's another multiverse where they, you know, women are turned on by guys taking a dump. I don't know.
God, we're not going down this fucking road. Jesus Christ.
That's a little too dirty for me.
Yeah, come on. This is a PG show.
I know. I think she just wants to give him some shit while he's taking a shit. I think that's what it is.
I don't know.
You're gonna get it, bitch.
No, I mean there's decisions like that in throughout Friday the 13th. Let's not forget the one of the most puzzling things in Friday the 13th Part 3 is dude just takes the shit and then stands up. I mean, just takes a wet dump and then gets up and like walks away. Didn't even wipe. I'm like, what? Do you not remember when he gets the shit scared out of him at the beginning of Friday 3? And he goes and takes a huge shit and then stands up and just walks away. I'm like,
Friday's not afraid to go there. They will get as down and dirty and disgusting as possible.
I like that you
make it charming.
You can see the block that he's going to get stabbed in for like so long in that scene. If you even like before he's about to get stabbed, he still has this awkward shape like in his like on his stomach. It's hilarious. But yeah, we're worried about Jason's swamp taint. We really should be worried about Harold's. It's got to be some serious stuff there.
Jesus, it's freaking
shit the bricks instead of hit the bricks.
Yeah, today it's shit the bricks, right?
Hell yeah.
Okay, all right, let's get real now. Okay, we were gonna talk about like favorite. Do you guys want to do like favorite kill first? Or do you want to do like
Friday
favorite moment?
Or
we'll stay on Friday, and I want to switch over to Nightmare here in a second. But we'll just do like one. Like, what's your favorite kill of the Friday franchise of all the movies? And you can include Freddy versus Jason if you want to. Although I don't think you're gonna mention that one. But
no, it's homie walking on his hands in Part 3 and then getting split in half.
Yeah, that's amazing. And Chad, you can give me your answer too.
Yeah, that's my favorite one. Or Part 2, my wheelchair guy. Just classic.
Yeah, that's freaking
classic.
That's
amazing. Mean-spirited. Yeah, Jason's a dick. I mean, he's an
dick,
asshole.
dude. He doesn't care what your condition is.
Yeah,
you're all equally worthless.
But it's probably from Part 3, the dude walking on his hands. That's just the look he sees Jason and Jason just like bam. And then she finds the body up like in the fucking ceiling. I'm like, oh my god, dude. Yeah, he's a dick.
Yeah, that's a great pick. Davey, what would be your answer?
Oh, it's so tough. Like I'm like running through
There's
all
so
of
many
them
good ones.
in my
Ted!
head. Yeah, that's like the one that sticks out to me. I really like that one because he gets pinned down and then gets the cleaver in the face.
Yeah,
that's pretty brutal. And I think he also gets one of the worst like post-death treatments. I mean, when he's essentially crucified in the doorway or whatever, there's that shot where Jason goes through that back door and he just like pushes the body off and the hands just rip through the nails.
Yeah.
It's just so like to me, I don't know what that stuff really looks like, but I'm like, oh, it kind of looks real. Like that looks fucked up. So yeah, that one stands out to me for sure. I'm trying to think if there's any other one. I mean, I like Sheriff Garris being like bent backwards in Part 6 is pretty awesome.
Yeah.
That's the one that makes
forgot.
me cringe every time. My back
hurts.
I
forgot. I was wrong. My favorite is the sleeping bag kill in the remake. That is horrible. Like I couldn't imagine being cooked. Yeah.
Roasting her. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, I think it depends on what type of vibe you're going for. Like if you want to just get realistic and like down and dirty with it, hers. But if you want to get more comedic with it, Jason taking the whole freaking thing and slamming it against a tree. So Part 7 was the first movie I ever saw in the theater. And I remember the crowd absolutely roaring when he picks up that freaking sleeping bag and slams it up against the tree. It was amazing. I'm gonna go. I'm gonna go with a deeper cut. I'm gonna say, and it's probably not my all-time favorite, but I do love in Part 8. Funny enough, when maybe this is the musician in me, but when he kills the chick with the guitar. I've always
what's her name? Violet. I think her name is Violet.
Yeah. She went on to be in like X-Men, and it wasn't that her?
Yeah.
So. I love the trash can kill when he like dumps the guy in there because that guy was such a dick.
Yeah, somebody mentioned in the chat the dry ice kill and Jason X.
That's one of the greatest.
Yep,
everybody mentions that one for sure. Let's see, Aaron's got one here. It says Marcy's kill in the original is brutal, and the way it's set up is fantastic. Also, what's Marcy's kill in the original? I can't remember the names because I know it's not Annie. Annie's the first one.
Yeah, is Marcy the one that gets the axe in the head in the bathroom after doing Kevin Bacon? Or is Marcy the girl that we see her thrown through the window and she was like tied in a bunch of ropes? I don't know if we see her kill. So I'm guessing it's got to be the girl in the bathroom.
Yeah. Jason's got a thing for throwing people through windows, which is really fun.
Jumping through windows.
Oh,
it started with his mom. She's throwing people through the windows in the first movie. So it's this.
Debbie's kill in the in part 5 is great if the MPAA hadn't butchered it. Like just the idea of that, you know, what is that? Like Shears, the fucking Shears kill, like that shit's gnarly, dude.
Yes. Oh yeah, Deborah Voorhees. Yeah, she actually, when I was doing a stream with her, she was talking about that scene, and she said from her point of view, she's laying on the ground, she's looking up, and there's this big burly bearded guy holding a camera right over her face.
Yeah.
So it kind of puts the whole thing into a different perspective, I guess, when you think about it that way. But
especially just being there butt ass naked with a camera literally right in your face. Like, I don't even know, man. Ugh.
It was a wild time in the 80s, everyone.
Yes, it was. Yes, it was. Let's shift over to Nightmare. And I guess, you know what, to make it a smooth shift, that didn't sound right. I guess, what would your favorite kill be from the Nightmare series? And this one's the one where the good thing about Nightmare and the kills is, man, like the kills in Friday look like they probably took like a half an hour to shoot, even though they probably took longer. The kills in Nightmare can take weeks. I mean, the setups are just like the freaking waterbed kill. The setup looks insane. Like Johnny Depp's kill, Tina's kill. That's what's so satisfying about the Nightmare franchise is the kills are just like so involved. And
they get more elaborate, and like they're the focus. I mean, it's like Freddy's personality and then the focus on like how creative the kills are going to get. That's why I think of like the Final Destination franchise is similar to A Nightmare on Elm Street in that way, where it's more about like, how are we going to like surprise the audience with these fun kills is like, seems to be the primary focus. It's really tough to pick one.
I think it's either, for me, it's either Tina in the original or it's the Roach Motel. Those are probably my two favorites.
I think the thing about Nightmare is more than any other franchise, the lead up is always, you get like everything works with the lead up. It's not just a boring, you're waiting for the kill. No, because the dream sequence, you know, that character could step in a freaking, you know, step, you know, like I don't know what they do on the shoot, but it's like porridge or something like that they're stepping into, you know. There's always something around the corner, and you never know what it's going to be. And then they could just step into another whole world, which is quite crazy. You know, there's no rules with Nightmare, so you get a full entertaining experience with each kill scene. I guess my favorite would be part 2, the beginning of part 2 with the school bus, and that was
fuck, you just
that was my entrance to the franchise. Actually, I can't remember if I watched the first one because it came out in '84 and I was really young. But I remember part 2 coming on VHS, and I wanted to see it, and I rented it. And man, that freaking school bus scene messed me up big time because I think, you know, at that time we can all relate. At that time I was getting on school buses. And we can all relate to, there's something a little creepy, something a little scary about school buses, or maybe it's just the 80s and 90s, and maybe the chat could help me out here. But
it's the drivers. The drivers are creepy.
The drivers are creepy, and you never knew what was going to happen on a school bus. Like I had my school bus, I could go on there. There could be a fight could break out, and sometimes there'd be some freaking knockdown, drag out. I had the school bus driver. She stopped the bus and she said, "Get the fuck off my bus right now." She made the two guys fight. She made them get off the bus. And I'm like, we're in the middle of nowhere. And this is somebody's kids. She had enough because these two kids, they were fighting every single day. And she was just like, I'm done. I'm done with you guys. Get off my bus. You can walk home. I don't even care. But back to Nightmare, there's just something creepy to me about school buses, and so that whole lead up there, and the you never know where the school bus is going to take you. Like you guys were talking about, he could be a freaking mental patient.
You're talking about that, and it just made me think. Like, I think the scariest kill in the franchise for me, it's either Tina's or it's Grady's. In part 2, because like that scene in part 2 is nightmare fuel, dude. Like being trapped in that room and not being able to get out and watching Freddy just burst out of Mark Patton. Like it's just that shit is nightmare fuel, and he is terrified. He's like banging on the door, like, let me the fuck out of here. Like that stuff is great. I mean, look. Freddy's Revenge, that movie's great. I don't give a shit.
It's so amazing. It's so amazing. I'm actually working on a revisited for Freddy's Revenge because I love that movie so freaking much. Yeah. And every time I watch it, I love it even more. But like you were saying, Nick, the idea that, getting killed is one thing, and that's horrible, of course. But having to sit on the sidelines and watch somebody get killed and not be able to really do anything about it, watching them like convulse and having freaking Freddy Krueger coming. Yeah, somebody mentioned this the other day on I think one of the horror groups or something like that. The alien scene, the xenomorph coming out of John Hurt in the first movie, but just imagine a Freddy coming out of you like in Nightmare 2. I think that's even worse. So that would definitely.
I think.
Go ahead, Davey.
I think Tina's kill is like probably the scariest one. If I had to pick scary. I really like oh my god, I had it like right on the tip of my tongue and totally lost it. I've seen it pop up here in the chat. The marionette kill for me, like it just, I can feel the tendons being pulled on my arm. Like there's something it's like when you see somebody get like kicked in the balls and you have that feeling. Like there's something about that when you see that, like I don't know, it makes me feel very uncomfortable. Has anyone noticed in that movie, it's really interesting, that guy's got like a teardrop tattoo for like one shot in that movie and then never again. You guys noticed that? I thought it was
the marionette kill.
Yeah, the guy, right? He's the mute guy, right?
Philip, yeah.
So
you're the mute guy.
Oh wait, I'm thinking of the mute guy, I think. Okay.
Yeah,
so it's a different guy, but only one shot though, and then never again. It's like, what
that scene is the exact reason. Yeah, Joey. That scene, Philip is the marionette kill. Yeah, but no, that scene is the exact reason why, like, I'll look at my wrists all the time and see these tendons, and I'm just like, fuck. No, like I don't even like to look at my like tendons, like in my veins and shit. Like I just don't like it. It's gross.
And that image of like giant, like, puppet master Freddy, before he cuts the strings, that's just a really like epic shot. So I dig that.
Well, this is a good segue into like favorite moment from the Nightmare franchise, because my favorite moment is from part 3. And I will say this. I love part 2 with all my heart. I think it's cool. And as you just say, part 2 is the best movie. I think I'm seeing more of that, more respect for part 2. And I think that's awesome. But I think, and many have said this in the past, I think as far as like trying to achieve everything, like you write down on paper what you want in a sequel, and the studio laughs at you and says, ha, we can shoot like a quarter of that. Okay, that's not happening. It happened with part 3. That movie feels massive. I think more than any other sequel in horror history, I think part 3 is the template for what you can achieve if you have the budget and you're able to get creative and you have talented artists to make a movie without breaking the bank and delivering on that promise of every single thing you could possibly give, and the kitchen sink, because that's how I felt walking out of part 3. Funny, I saw Jason part 7 and I saw Nightmare 3. I think they came out pretty close. 70, I think 87.
And Halloween 4. Yeah.
Dude, that was a good time to be alive. I'll say I saw all 3 of those movies within like a 2-year span, and all 3 of them were amazing. But man, I gotta say, as much as I love that experience in part 4, and I'll always love it for Halloween, the experience of seeing because Freddy was massive at this time. Like this, people don't realize how big Freddy Krueger was. Like he was on top. Like that's what every horror killer wanted to be. You know, he was the envy of every studio, the house that Freddy built, right? So when this movie came out, and it's as good as it is, and it's a crowd pleaser, and it's scary, and it's got it checks every box. It checks every box. My favorite moment of the entire franchise is in that movie, and it's when Freddy reunites with Nancy for the very first time. And we've all been waiting for this. You know, she wasn't in the second movie, but she's such an icon of a character in the first movie. So then when she comes back, it was just such a great thing to have Nancy back in the franchise. And so she comes into Kristen's dream world. Freddy in his phallic state is there. And that meeting between the two of them, and you see the camera like close up on his face, and he sees her and he goes, "You."
Yeah.
Dude, chills right now just thinking about it. That scene is so freaking iconic. And I think that's the one scene that every horror franchise, they want that scene. So how can I have that? It's the Laurie Strode meeting Michael Myers for the first time in H2O.
Mm-hmm.
I think this scene tops that scene, though. You know, just because Freddy and Nancy they'll always be an item, right? Even Robert Englund will tell you that. Freddy and Nancy, there's just something about that connection between the two of them. And Davey and his kitty. Yeah. So that's my favorite moment of the franchise. Nick, what is your favorite moment of the franchise?
Favorite moment of A Nightmare on Elm Street?
Yes.
Oh
Or no. We did kill. Do kill. Yeah. Give me your favorite kill.
Well, I said my kill. If I had to be honest, if I'm thinking about like a moment, it's probably the vanquishing of Freddy in the Dream Master. I think that is the best vanquishing of Freddy.
That's
I'm not saying the conceit is with like looking at a mirror. No, but the body with all the souls coming out.
Linnea Quigley's one of those souls too.
Oh yeah, she is, buddy. And
yeah, she is.
I'm telling you what, that shit, like to realize that as good as they did in part 4, how good that thing looks.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's my favorite moment in the series. Similar to what you said though about the moment where he says "you" to Nancy. I actually really like in the Dream Child where he comes face to face with his mom and he's like, "We'll see, bitch. We'll see." As he like backs up slowly into the smoke. I'm like, that's pretty cool. But it's probably the vanquishing of Freddy or the Welcome to Prime Time. Yeah, there's a lot. There's a lot of really iconic moments.
Yeah. Get me the fucking bourbon. Okay, Davey, what's your favorite moment?
It's so tough to pick. Well, part of me just wants to be silly and say something like, "Oh, when Nancy's watching The Evil Dead," or Roseanne Barr and Tom Arnold in Freddy's Dead.
Oh God.
I don't. I really dig. So that whole like the dinner scene with like the overstuffing the girl, that whole nightmare. I kind of dig that because it climbs into a little bit of like a Tim Burton Beetlejuice kind of vibe for a little bit. And I don't know. There's something so nightmarishly fun about that. It's so tough to pick though. It is, the franchise is filled with so many great moments, but just so I'm not reusing yours. I do think like him seeing Nancy and saying "you" is like, that's the moment,
And in the 4K of part 5, you're going to be able to see Freddy clearly feeding Greta her intestines. And can't wait for that.
There we go.
I don't like food horror. That's my thing. You like, everybody's got their little thing that like kind of, turns them off about certain kills, For me, it's food. I don't know what it is, but anytime there's like food involved in a kill and it gets really gross, I check out. I can't do it.
So you don't like the pizza scene with all the people?
No, the
like
pizza scene is cool though,
sausage
because
nuggets.
he's just poking the sausage. There's nothing too crazy, but the overfeeding, that's the one kind of like, I don't know, man. The pool scene though, Mega Cat, dude, you're all my children now. That's like,
I don't care what Wes Craven says. He's wrong. Wes Craven is wrong about that scene, saying it's stupid and it breaks all the rules. Shut up, Wes. That scene fucking rules. Stop.
They didn't have any rules, and it's the second movie in the franchise. They're still figuring it out. You know?
I think Wes was just butthurt that they made a sequel because he was come on, I made a perfect movie. Yeah, and it's like, whatever, dude. Come on, it's great.
I mean, he did make a perfect movie, but it's like, well, you could say that about like the original Halloween too. Like, we didn't need any more. I'm glad we have them, but the movie is like, it is all encompassing. Like it makes its point. And I think, Nightmare, even ending Nightmare with the, kind of stinger there on like a, was it all a dream kind of thing. I still think it works as its own thing, if that's all you want.
You guys know Chuck. Oh, go ahead, Nick.
I was just gonna say I can't lie. I love the moment in part 5 where he goes, "It's a boy." Like I don't know. I love that.
Even like the quote unquote bad Nightmare movies, there's always at least a couple of good lines, and nobody can deliver them better than Robert Englund. It sucks that we don't have Robert Englund to play Freddy again. Yeah, he's alive, but him carrying a full movie now. I want one more Robert Englund movie, but I don't think we'll ever have it.
Yeah, you could only do it animated.
Yeah.
Really.
Or you'd have to have a stunt double and have him, voice the line. Close-ups, maybe you could put him in the makeup, but I don't know. I mean, it's just, it sucks. He was talking about when they shot Freddy versus Jason, and he was like, I'll take any of those other Freddy movies where I'm going against the scantily clad females over me fighting this freaking 7-foot Hulk.
Yeah.
He said that was work, and he was bruised up, and he's older in age at that time. So, did you guys know that Chuck Shoulder, he's got a new Witchboard movie?
Yeah.
Who directed part? I just got a screener sent to me for
Chuck
for
Russell,
movie,
right?
Chuck Russell.
Yeah, Chuck Russell. Sorry, not Chuck Shoulder. Chuck Russell. And the movie, I checked out the trailer. It actually looks pretty decent.
It looks good.
It looks good.
It does look good. Yeah,
watch it. We'll see what happens.
Man, I mean, Nightmare 3 and the Blob remake, like those are pretty solid. And I really like he did The Mask with Jim Carrey, and I enjoy that movie too. So
yeah, he did do The Mask.
Yeah, and the new Witchboard, it looks pretty sexy. I will say that. Yeah, it looks like it's got plenty of a sexy kind of vibe. So yeah, we could use a little bit more of that in horror. Why the hell not?
Why the hell not? They did that with the what was that remake that was just like sexy as hell? I can't. I'm trying. You guys know what I'm talking about. It's the it's the movie set on Halloween, but they couldn't use the word Halloween because they were going to get sued by Halloween. Night of the Demons. Night of the Demons. Yeah. That's it. I knew we'd get there. Yeah, they went the sexy route with the new one. So
yeah, but you got Edward Furlong in that movie, and adult Edward Furlong can't fucking act to save his life. And
we've been down this road before.
Yeah, and I'm watching all these babes in this movie, and then you got this dude that looks like he's 45, and I'm like, what are you doing here? You don't belong.
I'm glad
here.
You brought that up though, because I do want to, because I felt like I want to get the good and the bad in there. I will say Detroit Rock City fucking rocks. Okay, that movie is all, especially as a Kiss fan, that movie rocks. And American History X, I will say he was good in that. Okay. I'm not saying you're wrong. He's done some shit, but I think he had a moment, and I think that those are pretty close. American History X.
What I'm saying, all I'm saying is now Furlong's moment has clearly passed. Like
it's passed. Yeah. So, well, yeah, I guess. Damn, we got like. We'll go ahead and start wrapping this up. I want to find out what you guys have planned on your channels. We'll start with Davey. Davey, I've seen you've been really busy. What do you got going on?
Yeah, I may go live here later on tonight. I've been doing these late night random kind of streams. Nice. So I'm thinking about doing that. Last night I was just way too beat to do one. I'm sorry, guys. I know I said I was going to go every night when I was at my sister's. But I've got, late night with the Davey will be this Wednesday. That'll be 9 p.m. Eastern. So I'm going to be putting together a little something for that. And yeah, other than that, just working on planning some stuff for spooky season. So doing a versus battle, a Child's Play versus battle coming up here in August, and then putting together some stuff for September and October as well. But yeah, just keeping up with the news and all that kind of stuff. It seems like we've been getting so much horror movie news lately. And I swear I'm going to say it now just so I can speak it into existence, because I started doing a review, like retrospective series on the Tales from the Crypt television show. I'm going to get back on that, guys. So never fear. We're jumping in. I think I wrapped up season 1. I'm just going to jump back in with season 2. So I'm looking forward to doing that, because I love that TV show. I always felt like when I was a kid, you know, that show came out when I was like, I think just like 9 or 10 years old. And it felt like whenever I was watching Tales from the Crypt, I was like doing something bad that I shouldn't be doing. So I was getting away with something. And I love tales of like morality. So it's always fun to jump back into those and experience them again and see the amazing, you know, stars and directors and writers that have worked on these episodes of this great show. So yeah, that'll be my big kind of spooky season project. And yeah, we'll just keep on with the live streams.
This is something because I was on Rockland Graves Productions last week, and he does like long form type videos. But Davey, is that and Nick, is that something you guys try to do? Like, say every few months, you try to like challenge yourself with like maybe a bigger project or something like that, just to keep things interesting on your channels, or do you kind of like just kind of sticking to the norm?
Nick?
I mean, I didn't know who you were asking first.
I was gonna say, I was like, you know, I'm not gonna say a word and see if we get some silence.
So I think the last like true video essay I did was I did a whole series of them about the unmade Halloween scripts. I did one on Rob Zombie's Halloween 2, which that video it's taken on a life of its own. I think if you search Rob Zombie's Halloween 2 on YouTube, it's like the 4th or 5th video that comes up. So I love doing those. They're a shitload of work. And I've never written notes or a script or anything. I literally just hit record, and I'll go a couple sentences, and then I'll stop and I'll gather my thoughts, and I'll go again. And then you take all that audio and you put video clips and photos and everything over the audio tracks. And so those edits take hours. But I do love them simply because like they normally really do take off. Like people like that form.
Oh yeah.
It's just hard to do. But right now, I've got a video coming out tomorrow called Hellraiser is the most underrated horror franchise. The next day, I already have a couple of these on Patreon. The next day is a look at the Halloween extended cut, talking about the added footage, giving a little history behind it, and then giving an overall verdict on the cut. I'm going to be doing one on Halloween 2's TV cut as well, which is going to be a bit more difficult because there's a lot changed in that TV cut, and it's just little things here and there, but there's a lot. Then obviously we'll be recording the podcast here in the next week or so with Lauren from Friday Part 2. So I got, I'm staying busy. I really am. I'm trying to make sure trying to make sure I get something on my channel damn near every day. So that's where I'm at.
Yeah, I wouldn't say every day, but I definitely try to keep it going. I do think, and I sometimes we blame the algorithm, but sometimes I think if you put your heart and soul into something and it does take freaking days, maybe even months, more times than not, that definitely finds an audience. And like when I did my 2 documentaries, those are the videos I'm like, even if I don't get any clicks, I'm proud of myself for putting something like this. But more times than not, they usually do pretty well. So luckily YouTube, it does kind of prop itself up to be an audience building type thing. If you build an audience, they see your notifications. If they see, the audience isn't dumb. If they see something that looks like there was a lot that went into it, guess what? They're going to click on it, So that's the cool thing about that. As far as like what I got coming up, I got a couple of top 10s that I thought about doing. One I was talking about most terrifying kills. Another one that kind of popped up for me, most satisfying moments in a horror movie. And the reason I was inspired to do this was because I watched the movie Alone. I was on a Tubi run, and I noticed they had Hush on there, Mike Flanagan's movie, and I watched that. and then they had Alone. I was like, what do these two movies have in common? The endings are extremely satisfying. Like they're just like, I don't know if you've seen the movie Alone, and lights. If you haven't seen it, I definitely highly recommend it. It's a girl. She's on a road trip moving, and this guy just follows her constantly, and she ends up getting kidnapped. And it's a fight for her life, trying to get away from him. There is a scene at the end of the movie that is one of the coolest. Like, you're just rooting for her, and you're like, yes, you go, girl. And I don't want to spoil it because you guys haven't seen it, and maybe the chat hasn't seen it. But that particular scene said, you know what? There's a lot of horror movies like this that have a very satisfying ending that you're just so happy about. So I'm going to try to put up a list like that. So, yeah, guys, that's pretty much it for this. They fly by so quick, don't they? Jesus. But yeah, thank you for stopping by. Endings are hard. Parting is such sweet sorrow, but take care of each other. Love you guys. Goodbye.